I thought I would come on here today and do a video on sitting with anxiety and overcoming hurdles. So, sitting with anxiety, if it's said in that sort of tone of just sit with it, that can be really annoying, right? When someone who doesn't really understand OCD is sort of just like, you just got to sit with it, just sit with it there. It's very frustrating when obviously OCD is quite a difficult thing and it's very uncomfortable when it feels really like it's locked on. So, someone just saying that to you can feel sort of kind of patronizing, you know? So I want you to think that sitting with it is obviously a key component of the OCD recovery journey, but it's not easy, okay? Now, there's a lot of Greek and Roman philosophy quotes that talk about most of life's problems wouldn't be so much a problem if man learnt to sit in a quiet room on his own, sitting with discomfort and not rushing to get rid of it, rather than beating someone up, getting angry, screaming at someone, or whatever other things could come into mind in relation to discomfort. Now, with OCD and anxiety, that discomfort tends to be quick, I need to ask reassurance. Quick, I need to message someone. Quick, I need to speak to my doctor. Quick, I need to speak to my therapist, my coach. Quick, I need to speak to my parents. I can't handle this, saying that. I can't handle this. I can't take this anymore. Not this again. Why is this happening to me? Anything but this. And then just a constant sequence of those questions over and over, often at a sort of machine gun-like pace. We know what that feels like. I've been in that position. You've probably been in that position. That's what it feels like. But you've got to ask yourself, where are these sort of meltdown moments getting you? Are they empowering your life? Are they building you into the person you want to be? Are they shaping your recovery journey how you want it to go? Definitely not, right? So it's about a balance. It's about, okay, reaching out for help. I've got a problem. Here's my problem. Can you help me constructively? It's not, I hate OCD. Why is this happening to me? If only this hadn't happened. Oh my God, I'm triggered. Quick, send 20, 30 messages to 10 different people, right? That is not the way to deal with it. That's low frustration tolerance. We're trying to build higher frustration tolerance, learning to sit with the discomfort. Even when people say, I can't take this anymore. Well, they have taken it all this time more. Even when they've said that in the past, you can stand the next minute, break it down into chunks. Can I make it through the next half an hour? The problem is, what they do, and we do, is equate our whole life like, oh my God, if I'm stuck like this forever, that's going to be terrible, unbearable. They think of their whole life. Instead, they want to slow it down and just think, can I make it through the moment? Can I make it through the next hour? Focus on that. That is what is absolutely critical, because otherwise, it's complete catastrophizing. Oh my God, I can't stand this. Oh, not this again. Oh, my life's ruined. Oh, my life's never going to get better, right? So we're learning to sit with that discomfort. Now, working with OCD every day, I see this all the time. And, you know, OCD did used to get a lot of criticism in the past by different psychiatrists who found it very sort of whining in nature, because they didn't understand the sort of life or death pull that the disorder has. But that still doesn't mean there is a lot of whining on the surface. Now, whining is where we are complaining but not constructively, where we're sort of like, oh, poor me, not this again, oh, it's so unfortunate. That's very irrational and doesn't make sense. And when you actually look at it from a gratitude point of view, if you saw somebody else who's like struggling to breathe in a hospital with a lung disease, you would think, oh yeah, actually, maybe I do need to calm down a bit. Look at what they're dealing with. It's very difficult. Now, that can also be met with criticism. Me saying that, people can say, how can you compare their suffering to mine? Mine's a 10 out of 10. It's the worst. Yeah, but yours is a 10 out of 10 because of your perspective of it. You're saying it's the worst, which makes it feel so bad. But actually, if you do look at other situations and bring it down, can you breathe? Can you eat? Can you walk? Can you talk? Can you move your arms? The answer is most likely yes. Now, other people haven't got that answer. Some people might be in poverty, in a hospital, with a disease, with anxiety and depression, all these things. That's not detracting from your particular problem and situation. That's helping you to see, hey, I've got a lot more in the tank, because my body can put up with a lot of pain and a lot. When we think, oh my God, not this, and we're picturing it like it's the end and it's the worst, the body can go on. The same as a triathlete who's training and thinks, shit, I can run a lot further than I thought when I pushed through that pain barrier, okay? And that's the same as us. People survived the Holocaust, didn't have any therapy, lived to 92 with insomnia and anxiety, GAD, PTSD for decades, and still managed. And I'm not saying that was fun, and I'm not saying that was great, and I'm not saying that was easy, because it certainly wasn't. But I'm saying there's a lot more in the tank. And that is vital to remember, because otherwise we are jumping straight to the end post. Bang! Oh my God, there's no hope. This is the worst, never going to get better. We have got to slow that down. That low frustration tolerance is the barrier to recovery. We've got to build that. And that is exactly the same with when I work with somebody who's maybe got contamination OCD and feels very locked up and not doing any compulsions. They've got too comfortable with avoidance. That's the same as so much OCD, too comfortable with avoidance. I see it in families all the time where, say, a parent's helping with all the rituals. So the child's become more comfortable with this environment that's all being set up as super safety by that parent. And that's not doing any favors. Recovery needs to be compassionate, tough love from loved ones, because otherwise it's too comfortable. The same with computer games, playing them 7 hours a day. It's the only time that I feel relaxed. That ain't a life structure. You know, that ain't a life structure. All right, it may make you feel relaxed, but you've got to get out of that, because computer games is not a life structure in the future. And if you needed money for food, you aren't going to get it playing computer games unless you're top 5 in the world, which you're most likely not going to be. So we do need that survival instinct. We do need to break through those barriers. The survival instinct is key to recovery. So if you're not encouraging your son or daughter to take risks in recovery and helping them to be independent, that doesn't do them favors. We've got to break that. And that's the same for you going through your recovery journey yourself. You've got to step outside of that comfort zone. I can't emphasize that enough. You should not be looking for the exposure that's the easiest option. You should be thinking, how do I go up the ladder in exposures and start overcoming things that are holding me back? Now, this is the same as venting in relationship OCD, where people are like, I've just got to tell my partner everything to get all the emotions right. No, you don't. You definitely don't. That's the compulsion that's keeping it going. You actually need to learn not to say how you're feeling. But isn't that bottling up? Isn't that holding it in? No. You're doing it in a balanced way. But then it comes with, but what if I don't know what's a balanced way? Then in the early parts, you've got to learn to not say about emotions most of the time and just feel it and just keep it in. And that's what you've got to do, because that's the compulsion, constantly trying to chase to have everything balanced because of the fear of losing them or not feeling connected, which OCD is often going for, that fear of not being connected. Now, I can't emphasize that enough, that you've got to be strict with that. And most therapists around the world will not notice that. They will keep saying, oh yes, it's healthy to keep talking like this, and then give you a bit of reassurance. If they don't understand OCD, you've got to treat it like it's a certainty addiction. You're chasing certainty. You have got to view it like that. Otherwise, it has got the reins 24/7, okay? Now, that is so important. That is so important you do that. And if you're a partner, you've got to refrain from doing it. Because a lot of partners, they venture into it too. Oh yeah, I should ask him. Oh, he's got RSD. He'll probably tell me. That's not helping him at all. It's sort of like somebody who's coming off drug addiction saying, oh, just have a bit of weed with me. It's fine to just chill at night. No, it isn't, right? So those things are so. But the same with alcohol. You often see that with anxiety. People say, oh, the parents say, just have a glass of wine just to relax. That's not good with OCD and anxiety, because then they're going to become dependent on equating that and that together. Right? So you don't want to be doing that. Doesn't mean get rid of all alcohol at all if you haven't got a problem with alcohol, but it means that you've got to put in those steps in place to prevent that addiction if you're relying on alcohol to relax constantly, which is not a good idea. Now, when it comes to the journey, you're going towards the things that are holding you back, and you're pushing through that, okay? You want to do that. You want to motivate yourself and say, I want my life back. I've got one life on this planet, and I've got to give myself the best chances. So I'm going towards it. I'm going into that fear. Now, that can be in any area of your life. If it's you're scared of public speaking in the workplace, try and public speak, even if it goes not so great. If you get angry at work a lot, learning to hold anger in and feel that discomfort, because you're going to have to, because life needs that structure, because that's going to give you the best chances in your jobs and career goals. And then you can break down anger and the beliefs associated, of course, which bring it down. But you've got to think the discomfort you've got to learn to sit with in all areas. That doesn't mean instant, not getting instant relief. I know how much you want instant relief. I wanted instant relief, but you can wait. Patience, building that is key. But I don't want to build patience because I want to just get better now. That's not going to be the case with OCD. You're going to be able to improve a lot, but it's that discomfort where you're going to make the progress, and you're not going to have instant relief. It's going to take a little while. That's just a fact. You couldn't come off heroin and expect to be off it in a day, okay? You might come off it in a day, but you'll have a whole load of symptoms and feelings associated with it that aren't going to go in a day. So that is so crucial. And if I don't highlight these sort of key points that come from a compassionate, tough love position, they never get mentioned. Because today, a lot of the sort of OCD information on social media is so wishy-washy and light that compulsions are just encouraged almost all day. I even saw a post the other day saying, oh, OCD recovery is still doing compulsions. You're fine still doing some compulsions. No, you're not. That's like saying, I'm coming off heroin, but I'm going to do cocaine a bit each week, and that's all right because I did very well coming off heroin. No, that isn't. So you've got to really think, I want to get to a position of no chronic anxiety, no chronic guilt, intrusive thoughts have lost their intrusiveness. Can I do that? Yes. How do I do that? Through those steps, working through those, facing fears, changing beliefs, working on acceptance, giving up compulsions, and you will get there. But at the moment, there are barriers that feel hard that you need to overcome, and you will if you persist. I've never met a human who couldn't do it. I've never met a human who couldn't do it, but I've met many that are too comfortable to do it. The same as in business, entrepreneurship, anything is always too much comfort. They're too safe. They're not going to work that hard because it's too uncomfortable, or they don't want to give up something that's another thing that's comfortable. All of life involves risk-taking and sacrifice to achieve the things you really want to achieve. Not much is achieved that people really want without some kind of sacrifice and hard work in any area of life, and particularly in OCD recovery. So you can do this. Anyone can do this, but you've just got to get behind yourself to do it. So I think that's key. And I think that's key. And look, when you do that, it doesn't mean when you're in the future, you still have to go towards fears. Like I don't have chronic anxiety and chronic guilt, but it doesn't mean that I back out of things that I think are going to help my development. I push myself always to think, how's that going to improve my development? How's that going to help me? Pushing myself into that discomfort, right? So, but then you can be comfortable in other areas of your life. You can be comfortable in other areas of your life because they're not causing you a problem. The goal is not to be uncomfortable all the time. Like I don't particularly like going to super busy nightclubs or festivals because I don't like all the people around. I find it not really the most enjoyable experience. So therefore, I'll go to somewhere that's quieter. Now, that's not causing me a setback with OCD or anxiety. That's a personal preference because I don't like queuing and lots of people because I think it causes it's not the best path to happiness for me. Now that's not for everyone. Some people love going to 20 festivals and they love that for the excitement and all the people around, and I completely understand that. But for me, it doesn't do that. So that's just one area I'm picking. Maybe getting up at 7 a.m. to go for a swim or go to the gym is something people like to do to kick off the day. And it's very good. And a lot of people love that. I don't personally love that. I personally like to get up, have breakfast, start doing emails and things like that. But I don't like to go straight into the gym. I like to do gym later in the afternoon. It's different for different people. People are different times a day. I stay up quite late because I work with lots of different hours. So in the evenings is when I'm off, and that works for me. Okay, and it works for other people different ways. But none of those things are detrimental to recovery because at this point there are preferences. But if I see that I was avoiding something and a sort of sneaky compulsion was trying to come in, I'd be going towards it. So that's what I wanted to come on here to talk about. Urges, sensations, low frustration tolerance, learning to have structure, learning to build a life that you want that's going to take you in the direction you want. Most human beings want to achieve certain things. That doesn't mean you've got to work all the time. That doesn't mean you've got to be facing discomfort all the time, but it usually means you've got to do more than you want to do. And that is so key because most humans can't tolerate discomfort. Most humans are quick to shout and get annoyed and all these things when there is discomfort. Make yourself one of those humans that isn't that, and you've given yourself advantage over the others. And that is so key. And you can do it. And through practice, you can do it and make those changes and do it. And those are skills for life. They're not just for OCD. Those are skills for everyone. Those are skills for everybody. Everybody gets into the trap, Netflix, crap food, this kind of structure. Most humans in that. It makes a lot of people a lot of money, the big companies that are running those things. But in reality, that ain't getting you where you want to get to in life. And you're going to have to change that up. And the guy sitting next to you and the guy across the road, he's in that trap. And your mum's friend, your dad's friend, or your friend's friend, they're in that trap. So to break that cycle, you've got to be different, because most humans, they are addicted to this kind of unhealthy life structure. Put that in practice, work through that, and you will give yourself skills for life that will make you very unique and will give you the best chances in OCD recovery, anxiety recovery, and life. So I wanted to talk about that because I think there's such key principles for life, and what I'm doing is helping people with life in general, as well as OCD and anxiety. So yeah, that's what I wanted to come on and talk about today, because it's a part of the journey that is so often missed. So I'm going to be doing more videos on this topic, covering this more, because it definitely needs it. Guys, I wish you all the best with your recovery work today, whether you're reading the books, whether you're doing exposures, whether you're breaking down beliefs. You can do it. There is hope, persistence, you can recover. But you don't focus on, do I feel hopeful? Am I motivated? Just do it not feeling hopeful and not motivated, and it will all come together as a snowball effect with practice, and you will get there. Guys, great to see you all. I will see you on the next one. Take it easy.